only 2 years into working my 9 to 5 job, and this is awful.
I really feel like I'm overworking. Like, I don't want to find another job. I don't have a dream clock in 9 to 5 job. Like, I don't want to work anymore.
It's because you're lazy, and deep down you know your ass is lazy.
I went to college for 4 years to be stuck in this cycle. What? No, 2 years is enough.
This 9 to 5 life doesn't seem very attractive to me anymore.
What you want is the easy life. You want everything handed to you. You ain't willing to sacrifice. That is the main issue with this whole Gen Z. They ass don't want to work.
Not only do we not have the same level of job security that our parents and our grandparents had, but we also can't afford anything.
Being a working adult is literally running on a never-ending hamster wheel, and we're doing the same thing for the rest of our lives. It's crazy.
Oh, it's so much hard. It's so work. I just want to kick back and just do nothing. Guess what? A life of doing nothing is boring as hell.
You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bill.
This is an internal mindset that this generation has, is if it's hard, if it's tough, I gotta turn away and do something else. I just quit. I give up. I don't want to do it. I want it easy. Hand it to me. You are lazy. I don't care what you say. Gen Z is absolutely lazy.
Anyone feel like they're just really not supposed to be working? Like, not that everybody gets tired of working, but I really feel like I'm overworking. Like, I don't want to find another job. I don't have a dream clock in 9 to 5 job. Like, I don't want to work anymore. Not because I'm lazy. I just feel like I'm not supposed to be working. And I feel like every job that I get, I always do pretty well. I don't have any issues at work, but I'll get to a point where I'm just like nothing is exciting to me anymore. Nothing feels there's not a job that I'm gonna work that's gonna make me feel like, oh, this is great, I could retire here. I'm not supposed to retire here. I'm not supposed to be working. I don't want to clock in anymore. And I just feel more motivated now to be working towards things that will put me in a position where I don't have to work. Because I think I want to try to be retired by 40, and I got 5 years to do it, and I think I could do it. And when I say retired, I mean retired from clocking in jobs. I don't want to clock in work. If I'm working, it's going to be my own shit, my own job, my own company, whatever. But I don't want to clock in by 40 anymore.
So you heard her. She's tired of working, and I got to keep it 100. She's lazy. I don't care what she says. She says it's not laziness, but it is absolute laziness. And the funniest thing is, right at the end, she talks about the fact that she just doesn't want to clock in on a 9 to 5 no more. She don't want to punch anybody's clock. But then she talks about, oh, she is open to having her own business. Lady, if you're not willing to punch the clock and put in work for somebody else, here's a message that you may not have thought about. You are not going to do it for yourself. You would be a horrible boss for anybody else, because here's the thing. If you run your own business, and especially if you run a business large enough to have employees, you're going to want them to clock in. You're going to want them to come in ready and excited to work. And the fact that you said that there's no work out there that excites you, that makes you enjoy the work that you're doing, that is a you problem. That's an internal issue. It has nothing to do with your employer, and it has nothing to do with you being able to fix it once you turn 40 and start your own business. Nah, that's going to still remain there.
Is anyone else experiencing this kind of disconnect and just general disinterest in the job search? I just feel like I don't care anymore. And it's so bad, because I graduated in 2023. So I did work a little bit in my field. I did have a job in accounting for a little bit. But right now I'm still waiting tables. My parents are just really getting on me because they're like, Olivia, you need to act like you're unemployed. You're getting comfortable with your job. And it's no, I'm not getting comfortable. In fact, I want to get out of serving. It's great for what it is, but it's ultimately not what I want to do. And I do want to get out. But this other life, this 9 to 5 life doesn't seem very attractive to me anymore. And I just feel really disillusioned with the whole corporate life because, for all the shit that you guys go through, at the very least, you could have job security, but you don't. I'm really realizing that there's no such thing as job security. People used to tell me, oh, get a government job. Y'all see what's happening with the federal jobs? Their whole department's being laid off. out of nowhere, no notice, no nothing. You would think that with everything that y'all go through and how much time and energy you pour into these jobs that they would treat you better, and they don't. I have to move back in with my parents, so it's just something I'm thinking about because I know they're gonna be on my ass about the job search and things like that. And it's not even that I'm lazy, it's just that I don't want to fight for something I don't actually want. It just doesn't seem worth it. Not only do we not have the same level of job security that our parents and our grandparents had, but we also can't afford anything. Even if we do have these jobs, even if we do have this job security, a lot of people can't even afford to pay their rent. At least back then, you guys could pay your rent. You know, you could pay your rent, you can buy your car, you could buy houses, you could afford to eat, you could afford to have fun. We don't have that same reality. The way prices have gone up in comparison to the way wages and salaries have stayed stagnant is insane, and nobody's talking about it. We don't have the same reality that our parents and grandparents did, and they don't want to acknowledge that. What we're fighting for is not the same thing that you guys were experiencing. So it's like, I'm fighting so hard to get some 9 to 5 that's gonna pay me barely enough to rent a room in a house and live in fear every day of being laid off on a random Tuesday. And then in the midst of that, I don't even know if I can put food on the table, or if I can put food on the table, I don't know if I can put gas in my car. And if I can put gas in my car, I don't know if I can have fun because I need to put food on the table and gas in my car. Our money is not going as far as it used to go. And I feel like we're getting gaslit about that. Like home prices, tuition prices, like the way everything has gone up and they're paying us the same amount of money is insane. So excuse me if I have no interest in fighting for my life in corporate America. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? The idiocy coming out of this woman's mouth. And I got a whole list. I'm about to cook for a minute here, y'all. First and foremost, she is only talking about what she can't do, what the problems are. But the truth is always going to come out. The reason why her and the previous lady talked about, oh, I'm not lazy, it's because you're lazy. And deep down, you know your ass is lazy. And that's the reason why you're on here on socials complaining about the economy, complaining about not being able to get a job. Man, stop it. I'm not trying to hear it. You got a degree. You got a degree in accounting, and you went from accounting to waiting tables. Now, I don't know your situation. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you got laid off. I don't know that. But all I can say is you have a skill set that you should be able to go and get a job. Because guess what? Accounting is a skill set that is always going to pay. How do I know? I got a degree in accounting. I came out of college, was able to get a good job. Now, yeah, it wasn't in 2023, and you can argue that. But here's the thing. Regardless of whether you no longer wanted to work in accounting or not, you ain't got no plan. On top of that, you ain't willing to work. What you want is the easy life. You want everything handed to you. You ain't willing to sacrifice. That is the main issue with this whole Gen Z. They ass don't want to work. They are so lazy. They all just want it handed to them. And your parents, of course, they gonna be riding you about you going out there and getting a job. Not so they could kick you out the house, but so that you can take advantage of the opportunity to stand with them so you can stack your freaking paper. You talking about you not getting paid enough. Girl, you ain't even got rent. Why are you talking about housing prices when you're living with your damn parents? Like, what are we talking about right now? You are not making no sense. All you're doing is just running down the little list of all of the stuff you hear everybody else online talking about and complaining about. And you are the reason for your problems. You talking about you ain't willing to fight for some job. No, you ain't willing to fight. And guess what? You talking about you should be treated better. Your employer ain't gonna treat you better when that's the way you feel, when that's the energy that you bring in. Hell no, I wouldn't want you working for me either. That type of energy that you bring in, that's why you can't secure a job. And let's keep it 100. I know that the economy is rough right now. I know that there are certain industries where job security is definitely in question. But let's be honest. Job security in today's day and age is going to be built upon a skill set. It's not going to be built on a degree like before. It's not going to be built on working for just one employer for decades. No, you need to go and develop skills. And then you need to implement those skills either in the job market or by starting your own business. It's really as simple as that. But people ain't willing to put in the work because guess what? It's going to require sacrifices. You have to recognize that cost of living and all of that stuff is real, but it's honestly really just a crisis for people who are not willing to develop skills that can put them in a position to earn more money. And that is the thing. There are a lot of people who just want it the way it was, who just want it easy, who just want it handed to them, and they're not willing to put in the work. They're not willing to develop skills. They're not willing to go the extra mile. And most importantly, they're not willing to sacrifice to get what they want. That's the difference between the past generation and this current generation, is they don't understand that sometimes you gotta grind it out. Sometimes you gotta make a sacrifice and work a job that you don't want to work so that you can take care of yourself, take care of your family. And that is what life is. That is what adulting is. And that is what Gen Z just doesn't get.
Today I hit a hard wall that I've never hit in my life, where I've realized that being a working adult is literally running on a never-ending hamster wheel, and we're doing the same thing for the rest of our lives. It's crazy. If you're in college right now, like, think about it. Like, the rest of your life after school is waking up, commuting to your 9 to 5, working that 9 to 5, commuting home, and then rinsing and repeating the same cycle until we retire. At this point, we might not even retire till we're 70 years old. Like, I'm just like, what is this? I don't know if I'm just spiraling, but it's just like really depressing to me. And I'm really starting to see that, like, there's not much to life other than working, which is so sad. It's just like, I'm so ghetto. Like, get me out, get me out, get me out.
Here we go again. I told you, it's just that this generation doesn't want to work. They're lazy. They think that work is a negative or a bad thing. It's not. Yes, we spend our lives working. That's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. Get it through your mind. Work is not a bad thing. Where it can be something that is not enjoyable for some people is when you're doing work that you don't enjoy. Because guess what? You didn't think long enough to figure out what is a skill set that I can develop, and either a business that I can start or an industry or a company that you can work for and put that skill set to rest or put that skill set to work, right? Instead, they just focus on, oh, it's so much hard. It's so work. I just want to kick back and just do nothing. Guess what? A life of doing nothing is boring as hell. You need to figure out and find some work that you actually enjoy. Then it ain't going to feel like work. There are so many people that don't have an issue waking up and going to quote unquote work because they found something that they actually enjoy doing. There's a such thing as a purpose in life. Gen Z, find yours, and maybe you'll get off a line, stop complaining about working. Because that's really all it is. Find your purpose, develop skills, work that you enjoy. That's the solution, baby. That's the solution. It's simple, but y'all just keep ignoring it.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat. All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago, when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago, when you first started, you were able to do everything that I am now struggling to do. Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to gain raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bill.
Oh my goodness, yo, I tell you, there are some grandparents and some great grandparents rolling around in their grave like this entitled generation. Now, I'm always going to be a realist, right? We understand that times are tough. The job market is tough. Economy is tough. Cost of living is high. All of that stuff, I get it. But at the end of the day, this goes beyond those external factors. This is an internal mindset that this generation has is if it's hard, if it's tough, I got to turn away and do something else. I just quit. I give up. I don't want to do it. I want it easy. Hand it to me. You are lazy. I don't care what you say. Gen Z is absolutely lazy. Now, not all of them. Some of them are putting their grind in. There are Gen Z multi-millionaires. So why the hell aren't you one? Because you didn't go put the work in. You weren't willing to make the sacrifices. You didn't develop the skills. This is what y'all don't understand. Y'all complaining about y'all entry-level positions like previous generations didn't have to go through that grind too. You act like they didn't put in work. So many people were turned over and turned down from raises. Some people worked jobs for years and years and years without ever getting a raise, and they sacrificed and they did what they had to do. That's what this old weak Generation Z is unwilling to do. Y'all are lazy. And until y'all change that mindset and recognize that work and sacrifice and putting in time is a part of the process, y'all gonna continue to just want it handed to y'all. And guess what? I promise you, millennials, Gen X, baby boomers, we ain't handing y'all a damn thing. If you don't work for it for yourself, y'all ain't gonna ever get it. I promise you, ain't nobody gonna help you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. If you don't wake up, y'all gonna drown on your own.
Only 2 years into working my 9-to-5 job, and this is awful. So you're telling me I'm having the Sunday scaries every week to dread 5 days of my life, to then be rewarded with a little thrill on Friday, but then be so tired from working that I pass out at like 10 p.m., live for Saturdays, love them. But really, that is only one full day of fun, because Sunday, have a great Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon rolls around and I have the Sunday scaries and I'm dreading my life for the next 5 days. I went to college for 4 years to be stuck in this cycle. What? No, 2 years is enough. So I'm on TikTok and I'll be promoting products and posting my way out of this god-awful cycle. I cannot settle for a life of dread, especially if they want us to retire at 70 now. No. I'm going to be using the internet because I see people making a ton of money on here, and you can be making a ton of money by creating digital products, selling those, and then promoting products that you didn't even make. So yeah, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to be doing to get me out of this god-awful cycle, because I cannot take another second.
Hey, I got to give credit where it's due. Shout out to this young lady. I will say, at the start of the video, I was getting ready to cook her like I cooked the rest of them. But the difference is, she has a plan, and it is a viable plan. It is a plan that has worked for other people. She recognized that, hey, all of the Gen Z ain't out here complaining about working. It's some of them living it up, making millions of dollars. They develop skills like the skill that she mentioned, selling digital products. That's how I get to my paper, so I know it works. And she has a plan. That's the difference. All of those other people before her, they are going to drown in their own inability to develop skills, develop a plan, and be willing to put in the damn work. But she has made a decision to say, hey, I don't like that 9-to-5 grind. I figured out a way out. I figured out something that's working, and that's what I'm gonna lock in and do. And that right there is the solution, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Jay. I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you check out the video on your screen if you want to see more of these breakdowns and these fun videos. You ain't got to subscribe. You ain't got to subscribe. I know how valuable that is for you. But if you do like the content over here, continue watching. So click that video and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay blessed.